Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Arc Hive here from Nashville, Tennessee. We've got the Archeons band. You've got Timbo Slice. We've got our boy Chris Huff, the T Swain, K Nasty, B Stan, and of course, don't forget your guy over here leading the computer. We've got young Cody, of course. Yeah. Always a pleasure. Today, we're going to be breaking down some more stuff of our 2018 EP of Forged Reality. We're going on to our next song today, give you a little behind the scenes and all the cool, fun know-how of our song, Soul Drift. Soul Drift, guys, our first song as a band.
First single, yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Ready to write new shit.
Yeah.
That was the first song we finished completely, wasn't it? Or was that Experiment?
No, that was the first song we finished completely.
First song. That's probably why we're so sick of it.
Yeah.
But it's a great song.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's a fun time.
Definitely
for sure.
ready to move on.
Mm-hmm. Hear that? A little bit of fatigue. But you know what? There's so much that went into that song. There's so many hours and so many alterations, so many different versions, so much content related to it. There's really a lot to break down about this song. Kind of going into the history of it, when, Chris and Trey, when you guys were forming Archeons at the very beginning, like how long did it take you before Soul Drift started becoming Soul Drift?
I think Soul Drift was like your first... Because it was originally Untitled 48, another Untitled song.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was one of the first ones. Because we had Experiment and then you had Soul Drift in the works.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how it started.
Yeah, I just remember you had that little intro riff, and I was like, we should throw that on strings. Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that.
Nice.
Man, it's been so long, though.
Yeah.
How many years would you say?
That was when we first moved here.
That
It was almost 3 years ago, yeah.
3 years ago.
Close to when we started.
So the oldest song in the books. That's really cool, though. So kind of like breaking down, talking about, how you had that one little riff, the do-do-do-do-do-do-do. How do you guys, as guitarists, there's a lot that we hear about the guitar melodies and harmonies, all that goes into it. Like, where does it come from? Where do you, this riff builds onto the next riff, to the whole song, like that writing process? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. For me, I just sit there forever and just play, you start with a little idea and you build on it, go back and change it a bunch, So just something like that. I honestly... Obviously, it's been years, so I can't remember exactly how that riff started, but that's usually how it goes, You just work on something
Find a
for a
little
while.
inspiration from something, and then you just kind of build off that, like the sound that you want to go for.
Right.
I do know for that one specifically, this is going to get a little theoretical, but I was going for a harmonic minor vibe, which is it's hard to explain, but it's got a certain vibe to it, so I definitely wanted that. So then I just kind of built that riff off that harmonic minor chord progression.
That's
And
really
then the
cool.
rest was history, I guess. Because the majority of that song's based off, I think, that harmonic minor.
And that song has a riff that I wrote when I was 15.
Oh,
in
yes.
It. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little
The verse riff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to throw that in there at some point. Maybe
Check that out.
In there.
I got a little before and after of when I wrote it when I was 15 because it was recorded terribly, and then I have the Archeons version. It's like a progression of
That
getting
was cool.
better with time.
Because that was something that he brought to the table, and then I fucked with it, and then we fucked with it 18 more times, and
then we got the dueling leads behind those chords, and
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that kind of makes me think of, when I saw that video that you made, kind of the comparison, the side by side of, how it built into what it is today. We have a lot of content related just to Soul Drift. Not only is there that video, there's also the lyric video, and that leads on to two things here. I want to go over to Huff here for a minute. The lyrics, tell us just about that process and all of it.
That was the first one I wrote in regards to anything AI related. And just the name of it alone kind of gave me the idea to make it about AI.
Oh, a little side note.
You go for a fun fact?
Yeah,
a
fun
little
fact. Soul Drift was a name that Chris wanted for the band.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I
was the only one who liked it.
Yeah, and I was like, well, we'll just name this song that.
Yeah, that's dope. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Which kind of fits the vibe, I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, so the song was already named, just that I had like that cool imagery of soul drift, like when you die, your consciousness is like traveling or whatever, going into another body.
Mm-hmm.
And with AI, there's this like push to try to like, when people die, try to store their memories on like
Transcendence, great
hard
movie.
drive, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Altered Carbon.
So yeah.
So
So it kind of started from there with the AI aspect of it, and then as I was writing the song more, it like kind of became this story about how like humanity will eventually like integrate themselves with AI, and that's how they evolve to the next stage of life.
We kind of got like the idea was that artificial intelligence is going to obviously evolve like intellectually, and they'll realize that humans are doing nothing. Like we just kind of hang out and they take care of everything. And so like the point was that, hey, you guys need to become useful. If not, we're going to destroy you.
Or just if humans wanted to keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, it's like pretty much like you have to integrate to go along.
Stay relevant.
Yeah.
Right. So, like you'd say then that the song is from the perspective of an artificial mind.
It goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Back and forth. Yeah. Okay. Well, definitely some really great, lyrics and melodies there. I always love the burning part there so much in the song.
Yeah.
But kind of touching back on the content, I thought it would be an interesting story to hear from Trey. Making the lyric video. It was a pretty grueling process.
Oh yeah. So it was a week, and I had never touched After Effects or anything. And I remember I was like,
I just explained it to you. I was like, hey, you need this stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was busy making the
God,
website.
It was so terrible. And so I had never touched After Effects or anything, so I just got in there, and it was like a week until we were gonna release it, I think. So
right.
Yeah, so it was like a 60-hour week of sitting there, and then all it came down to was you start off and you watch a YouTube video on how to do something, and so if you watch the video, will just progress with my knowledge of getting better. So it starts off really simple, and everything is just kind of things popping in and stuff, and then I Video Copilot, which is the best After Effects channel. I just started watching their stuff and just putting that in there, and then watching. I remember Taylor Swift's music video for Look What You Made Me Do.
Yeah.
And so I took a little thing from that. Then what was that one banger lyric video that
Crown the Empire one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And watching that. So it was just watching a lot of lyric videos and
a lot of Googling.
A lot of grinding. It was a long week. And After Effects is just so taxing on your computer, so it was just I think rendering it took 15 hours, and it was just.
If any of you guys are interested in learning that at home, it's called kinetic typography.
Yeah.
Just Google and YouTube that. There's a bunch of tutorials.
Yeah.
The more you know.
It's not hard. It's just very time consuming.
Yeah. So that was fun. But that was the start to being able to do our own video stuff.
Right.
The intro into Archeons and
right
and everything like that. Just learning how to do that as a useful tool.
Right. Well, I think it's important to kind of relay to any of the fans out there that want to produce their own content, that want to chase their dreams, that want to go for everything that they dream and hope for and believe in. That 60-hour work week, putting that grinding in to make something happen there.
Mm-hmm.
How many views did that get?
Oh man, I don't remember.
Not enough.
It was I think it was 24,000 on Facebook or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
well, it's important. That is the result.
Yeah.
I mean, from your first taking that step forward and putting in all that work, putting in all that stuff, where behind the scenes people have no idea what's going on, how much it takes to do that. But that was the first step, and 24,000 views right out the gate. That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, boosting and stuff too, but
right.
Well, not organically, but
grinding.
that's more learning too. Is figuring out how to correctly boost on Facebook, which we're still, learning how to do and everything. But I mean, that was the start of it.
Yeah. Right.
Just of where we're at now and like the stuff that we know now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll go more into it with Consuming Gravity and what we did on that, but yeah, and I just think that, you know, for anybody wanting to do that kind of stuff, like, we live in a great technological age where it's like, I don't know how to do this at all, but then like you put in the time, like you can get something with decent, you know, quality.
Yeah, you can learn anything you want now.
Yeah, it's like, you're like, let's make a lyric video, like, Google it, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, without even having to invest a lot of money, you know, and it's a lot cheaper than paying somebody, and then you don't know the process, you don't know if you're getting ripped off or not. But now, like, if we had somebody make a lyric video, it's like, I understand,
Right.
you know, the time that goes into it. It's like, okay, you deserve this. But
Yeah, you know
if they
what?
try to charge too much, you're like, okay, I know how much work goes into this,
Right.
you know, to a certain point. So, like, that's too much. And it's like, you just kind of learn, you know,
Right.
how to, just the whole aspect of music, you know.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, kind of taking it in a different direction, like, you know, from talking about, you know, how you can grind and get a good result from that, you know, kind of taking it back to, like, the beginning of it all, you know, how important Soul Drift is. Brian, I think, was that the first song that you heard from these guys?
Yeah, it was either. Yeah, that was probably it.
Yeah.
Untitled 48 rings a bell.
So, like,
Weird to hear.
Yeah.
It's weird to hear that now. Untitled for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the first one you tracked, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that
Studio.
was.
Yeah.
That one had still some of my favorite rhythmy, like breakdowny stuff.
I remember a sick ass fill in there. Yep.
Oh yeah, a little hi-hat. Yeah.
Who's Phil?
definitely. Who are you?
Oh goddamn.
Well, that's cool, man. Is that the song you auditioned with, or like, you know, tell the fans a little bit about how that all came to be?
Yeah, that was one of the 3 or 2 maybe that I learned ahead of time. We just went to like a rehearsal space.
Tommy.
Shout
Shout out
out.
to Tommy.
Andy Yacht.
But yeah, so we just like kind of worked out those, and I think I just like assumed my way in after that.
Pretty much. You're like, all right, he's pretty good. He can play.
What are you doing next weekend?
And the
Yeah.
rest is history.
I just stayed in the area, and it was.
Was available.
So Huff, you know, I kind of wanted to take a second as well, like talking about how the guys kind of, you know, Trey and Chris, you know, end up building those melodies and those harmonies and everything. Tell the fans a little bit about your process of building the melodies and harmonies for the song.
That was an
vocally.
interesting one. I remember those times.
Basically, just come up with ideas and keep workshopping it until it sounds right.
Trial
Right.
and error.
Yeah,
right.
like
Lots of that.
I don't know, like to the extent of their like music theory knowledge, I have none. Like I literally just like, this sounds cool, let's try it, and then I'll do it, and I'm like, no, that didn't sound good at all. Let's try something else.
Right.
Just over and over again
Yeah,
until
that's the
something
gist of it.
sticks.
Right. Well, it's super
Yeah.
important for, you know, people to hear. I have people talk to me sometimes and say they want to make a song, but they don't know where to start. They don't know how to, you know, build a melody, build a chorus, build a verse, you know, that has a hook
Us
to
either.
it. You know, what's that?
So us either.
Oh, most definitely. I still wonder about how certain bands like craft vocal melodies and stuff, because
Right.
it can be crazy, like
Yeah.
harmonically, like with the
Yeah.
chords underneath, there can be a lot going
Or
on.
the guitars, like, you know, we have
Yeah.
a lot of layers and stuff too, so it makes it even more like figuring out, and you know, it's still us going through the process of figuring out the correct, you know, like the best way for us to go about doing it. You know, like we're not even close to like hopefully what we'll be doing in years to come.
Yeah.
We'll look back and be like, wow, that's how we used to do it. That's
Yeah.
stupid. So,
I think we'll definitely streamline it.
yeah. Well, and like I said, like all these songs are written pretty much, you know, beforehand. So now future songs,
Yeah.
like we get, you know, everybody gets input.
That was the
That's-
difficult part about the whole EP, is that all the songs when I came in were already written. So like it was basically me going over and just trying to place melodies where I could fit them.
Right.
So that was very difficult. At least now, as we're writing, like I'm hearing like just the basic structure, and it's much easier to like go in
Right.
and place things. So
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, is just take it down to the simple harmony of what's going on
Yeah.
underneath.
yeah,
Because
What chords are these, and then how do you build off that?
Yeah.
So the song as a whole, You know, kind of touching back on the artificial intelligence, you know, kind of condensing it down to one sentence. I believe that we kind of talked about Soul Drift is basically becoming AI and the doomsday scenarios that kind of follow with that. Let's break down a little bit about, you know, that picture that it's painting.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, I think that
Should we
it's just
hit a lyric? Hit a line?
yeah.
What, you got the lyrics pulled up?
I actually don't have them at the moment. Young Cody,
Damn it,
can you
Tim.
assist us with that?
My favorite lyric in that entire song is "Your putrid flesh is nothing but a detriment,"
Yeah.
and that's from the perspective of the AI, like talking to the humans, like, "Oh, you and your, you know, basic biology, like it's holding you back," kind of thing. It's kind of them taunting, like, "You're so fucking
holding us
Yeah,
back.
You're fragile.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, humans are, you know, really fragile, and so I think that's what, like, if AI saw that, you know, and it is that like doomsday scenario, they'd be like, "This is ridiculous. Like, you can die so easily."
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think
it's
there
just-
was one lyric, right, that was like, "Your God was created by
Your own kind.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, big, come on.
And
Yeah.
that was kind of from like the idea that like there's a large faction of humans I would believe would like start worshiping AI as gods because they're so much better.
Isn't that
I
already
remember.
happened?
Yeah, I
it's
read
already
that
happened.
about some dude who like is like,
Silicon
we need
Valley.
to worship these, so like someday when
Yeah.
they overtake us, they'll see that we're, you know, we are,
Yeah.
which is, you know, just a whole other topic about like
It's
how it's
nuts.
interesting how humans want to worship, like, you know,
Right.
something that's just more intelligent or something. It's like
From a survival standpoint, that's a good idea.
it's true, yeah.
No.
Very
Never
true.
know.
Well, I think wasn't that one robot that was on like the show Silicon Valley and out in Silicon Valley and like Good Morning America, that female one?
Oh, yeah,
Like
what's
didn't
her
they?
name?
Yeah, Sophie. Didn't they ask her like, you know, about the future, where it was another AI robot? And it was like, I think that, you know, I'll keep you as my pets. you
Yeah,
know,
In my
too.
people-
She was like, ha ha
Yeah.
ha, just joking.
Gotcha.
Good one, Sophie.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah, I think it's just talking about how, like, you know, as artificial intelligence grows, like, I think a lot of people will worship it because it's just going to be, if they surpass human intelligence, like, and we're not the top of the food chain, it's going to be like a god, you know, it's going to be like this all-knowing
Yeah.
thing that has the answers for stuff, and we're just going to be like, oh,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
feel like we already worship
Look
it.
at, yeah, I was about to
Yeah,
say, look,
true,
look
yeah.
at technology now.
Right.
Sure.
Like people
Yeah.
worship their technology without even realizing it now.
Yeah,
True.
very true.
So like if it gets to the point where it's like we need to worship it, otherwise, you know, talking about like you need to assimilate, or otherwise you're
Join
gone.
or die.
You know, what do you think? Like, would you want to fight that, or would you just join the program?
No, you'd lose.
Yeah, I think regardless, it's inevitable if it goes down that route.
hmm
Like
Yeah.
you can fight for a certain period of time, but
I just think that like AI will just be able to go so much faster than our brains can comprehend, and like we might be able to keep up someday through evolution, and but I think that evolution will come through technology. For humans, I think we're kind of at the last point of evolutionary, you know, like just biological
Yeah.
evolution, and it'll become more of like genome
and that's a large theory in itself. Is that like the carbon-based life form is only meant to get so far,
hmm
and that maybe in other parts of the solar system or galaxy or universe, there's life forms made of like silicon and like, you know, act
Yeah.
like computers and
Well, you know, there are some subjects, of course, that, you know, some people consider to be taboo or like we don't really want to touch. But I think here in the archive, we want to be able to be open-minded and talk about as much as we can
Yeah,
and as
for
many
sure.
subjects as possible, just being open-minded. So
Absolutely.
it makes me think, yeah, somebody said to me once, would you ever consider that perhaps like biblically, where they're talking about like the mark of the beast, what if this prophet, I think it was John, but whatever that, you know, matters. The point is, what if this mark of the beast was like integrating, you know, and maybe they did see
I
that,
think that's what
you know?
a lot of
Could be, for
people
sure.
think is like the chip, you know, like implanting the chip in your wrist and stuff.
Yeah.
And like from a religious perspective, I would say that's very much the mark of the beast.
yeah.
You know, because you're taking away your worship of God for this life or human created, you know, technology.
Right.
So I think that's totally
Idol.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's valid. I think it's very valid that people would believe that. So.
Sure.
What do you think?
What do I think about the whole Mark of the Beast scenario and all that? I think that it's definitely possible for people to maybe have some kind of revelation, and perhaps see something to come. So it's definitely possible, I think anything. I grew up with this phrase called the realm of possibility. That 2 seconds from now, 30 minutes from now, an hour from now, it's all the realm of possibility. We could all be blown up in 30 seconds. Who knows?
True.
True. So anything is possible in the realm of possibility.
Yep.
Young Cody, you got those lyrics pulled up for us over here, man?
Yes, we sure do, bud.
Nice.
Oh my dude.
Where'd you find those?
They were saved the whole time.
Weird, right?
You should. Is the text huge? You should make the text big so we can read it.
My dude, you mind reading off the first line, my dude?
Uno momento.
A line that pops out to me is
Hoobity how
unified mind.
Unified hive
You
mind.
said unified hive mind.
Yeah.
What was that?
We're losing grip on our minds, trapped in a state of regression, a slave to all of our crimes of a carnal obsession. So
Okay.
what is this carnal
There's
obsession?
lots to dig into. right there.
Okay, so there's a lot to pack in that. So, carnal obsession would be like humanity's like basal needs, desires, like how we're attracted to violence, and,
Eat, sleep, fuck.
and sex,
Fight.
and jealousy, and just all these emotions. Like, so this was from the point of the AI. It's like, you guys waste so much time and energy on all these basal desires and needs. Like, what's the point? So trapped in a state of regression, a slave to all of the crimes of our obsessions. Just basically from a standpoint of the AI being like, what is the point of all this?
Well, it almost makes me wonder that it's like from a carnal obsession, talking about the desires of flesh and humanity. Could you even argue that like surviving is a carnal obsession? Because
of course.
from like an intellectual standpoint,
Yeah.
as an AI, it could even understand it's like my existence is not good for the surrounding environment.
Yeah.
But to humans, obviously, with everything we have going on right now, with I'm going to say global warming as an example, our existence does affect the planet in a negative way.
No, for sure.
So
Well, they shouldn't have had us.
Well, the way we exist
Yeah.
currently, I think it's negative. I think it could be
Yeah.
fine.
It could be better.
But
Like,
yeah.
we
obviously-
know better,
Yeah.
but
That's
we're
true.
too caught up in like, ooh,
I'm optimistic.
I'm better
man.
than everything on this earth.
Think of like green energy and where it's coming and solar
Yeah.
power.
And I think
it's-
as like millennials kind of move in, or
Right.
not even,
Yeah.
or Gen Z, especially Gen Z and stuff, like as time moves forward, like the minds that, we all think differently than our parents and our kids are going to
Maybe
think
they might
differently.
do something different. They might just make memes of it.
That'd be awesome
Well,
too.
when they realize like the Earth is like super triggered right now,
Yeah.
and like
No, for sure. Like
Yeah.
there's
it's not a
is
hashtag
more-
safe space anymore, then
Yeah.
it's gonna be time to make
Yeah,
some
I-
changes.
I think
AWs.
there is more empathy now and like than there has been in the past.
Sure.
That's true. Yeah,
Sure.
the Earth
just
is much less like Instagrammable right now. So
Yeah.
Hashtag no.
And
filter.
like all the really bad shit we've been doing is somewhat recent if you think about it. The past
Right.
like 200 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Stuff like
So
that.
we're like learning that it's
So
That's
it's pretty
true.
young.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been a short time period in our entire existence.
Right.
That's why I'm hopeful.
right.
for sure.
Right.
Because I think we want the best. As humans, we want to survive.
And that's interesting to think about because for many thousands of years we existed on the planet almost just like any other animal. No carbon footprint, just tribal. And it makes you wonder, could one of two scenarios, perhaps three, where, for the planet, would it be best for humanity to, quote unquote, as some people say, return to a tribal type, livelihood? Seems to me that's not entirely likely. But if you take an artificial intelligence approach of trying to find the solutions to these larger problems, even if it is a simple one that we just don't want to act on,
Just using clean energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just all money based though.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to
Yeah.
get past the whole desire to have power and control.
Like gasoline, like we've had cars for like 100 and some odd years, it's like there's no reason that some other fuel didn't come along. It's just because of money. It's like we
But
have
now
the
there's starting to be
technology.
money in the technology.
Yeah,
like
true.
Tesla and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and, as you're talking about, the millennials, not just, growing into a larger stature, politically and all that, but economically, we're going to speak larger with our dollars. We're going to make more business decisions, I think, as a generation to change that, as we've been talking about. So created by all our intentions to rule and control everything you know.
That's what we were just talking about.
That's exactly what we were just
That's
talking
exactly
about.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So replace all the parts inside that fail inside and torment you.
Okay, we
Yeah.
can elaborate on that, which we've already kind of a little bit.
Well, kind of.
Merging with technology.
Yeah. Just like, so we talked about the human form is not the most efficient. We're very fragile.
Right.
And this is the AI talking to the humans. They're like, if you join with us, you won't have these problems. Like, you won't have your decaying flesh and all your health problems. You'll be infinite and eternal like us.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's just like getting your arm cut off and then putting a robotic arm. Think of how sick that stuff is, like now, like how far it's come, where they can actually like move their fingers and stuff. So just think of like in 50 years, the stuff your body will be able to do if you replace, like you'll just be.
The next 50
sports,
years.
man, sports are gonna be so dope.
Right.
Like,
I never even considered that part of it.
yeah.
Like enhanced sports.
Yeah,
leagues.
it's like steroids, but like
It'll
just
have to be a rule
replacing your
where
body.
your specs will have to meet a certain standard.
Yeah.
Like you can't have the latest technology.
Yeah, you can't have enhancements. Natural.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Wow.
Bring it on, man. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Well, that almost kind of makes me think about, if you've got like big money, doing an enhanced sports league, if you're kind of like trying to regulate what is allowed and what is too new on the marketplace, what's not new enough. If you say that millions of Americans, millions of people around the world are watching this kind of sports event, to them, to perhaps the least educated or the parts of the country who don't get to be on the cutting edge of everything, what they're going to see on television or their Facebook feed or YouTube, that is the cutting edge to them.
Yeah.
Whereas in reality, if there is more cutting edge technology that's just not available to the public eye yet, that kind of, bridges into that military application of it,
If we have it, the military's had it for like 40 or 50 years.
True. Yeah.
Right. And
So.
doesn't that like kind of blow your mind to think about like what do they have right now that
dude.
we haven't seen?
Well, we also might not be ready for it.
That's
So
true.
maybe it could be a good thing we don't know.
Right. Which kind of like leads into, by the way, check out last week's podcast talking about Beneath the Waves, talking about how technology, talking about those portals, opening up, like all that stuff that we just have not seen in the public eye.
Yeah.
And kind of moving on, I know we talked a little about, your God was built by your own kind, but this simulation, has become our foundation. Scrolling down, built off the need to evolve. We are the solution. Your vessel will adapt or die. It's our command program. So, sounds again like the AI is speaking directly at humanity. Like, get with the program.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the simulation part is based off, of course, the simulation theory.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I still think AI will have that perception that all this, even my programming is the same as yours. You're just programmed in a different set of rules.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they'll look at that and be like, yeah, your universe was made first, but it was my foundation. So as we build AI, we make it more like us.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever our set of rules is, we put on AI.
That's true.
That's why we're terrified of because we know if we went to another planet and we were better than them, we would probably take them over. Because that's just kind of how we are. We would go and I think, maybe not, but probably. And so I think that's why we're scared of
look at our history.
if a more advanced
Yeah.
form. That's why we're kind of scared about aliens coming to us too, because then they're going to be more technologically advanced, and they're probably not assholes. They might be, but
We just don't know.
yeah.
They might
And it's
not
just
be.
we reflect our desires onto other things, and that's where I think the fear
it's
from
very
AI,
ego based for sure.
It's we would do that,
Mm-hmm.
so they would probably do that to us, but
Yeah.
I mean realistically, why would we program? I mean, we will program AI to
Right.
But-
resemble us.
So, but
like,
why wouldn't AI just
Why would
change
they have
that?
our desires?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's- yeah, I think it's
there's
just
a
a
big
very-
possibility they might not.
Yeah.
Like even like you said, the aliens thing. Like if a species is more evolved, they probably don't have the desire for
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
They're probably
just waiting us out.
Yeah.
Like, hurry,
Yeah.
fucking get this shit over
Yeah.
with. We're right here.
Neil deGrasse Tyson said that on one podcast. He was like,
Yeah.
any civilization that would be advanced enough to colonate the galaxy would be the same kind that wouldn't do it at all.
Yeah. Dang, that's deep.
I see why. I wonder why.
Because you
Why
can
wouldn't they?
only you can only advance if you get past that.
Wouldn't survival be the...
But maybe they found a way to
main
keep
thing?
their
Again, that's a human thing to think, but maybe they keep their what?
to keep their planet stable and everything.
Yeah, yeah. I would just,
But their planet
just be
doesn't
able to-
last forever.
Why not?
Unless they're smart enough to
That's
make
what
it
I'm
last
saying.
forever.
They'd
Yeah.
have the resources
If
to
you were-
travel. Their
if you were
planet's
worrying
Yeah.
less about like colonizing everything and more about making your home a little better.
Right. Right.
I've heard that argue for Earth instead of colonizing like Mars.
Yeah.
Let's fix
Yeah,
this
because Neil
here.
deGrasse Tyson talks about that too, where it's like if we could colonize Mars, we can save Earth.
Yeah, we can save
Very
Earth
true.
for sure.
Very true.
If we can make an atmosphere on Mars, we can make ours better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's some advanced stuff.
Right.
We got a ways.
That's for smart people.
Yeah, that's for
It
Mr.
does
Musk.
definitely make me think a little bit about with. Oh,
Speaking of Mr. Musk, did you guys see the fucking launch the other day?
So, with the Falcon.
The Falcon? Did you see that? That
No,
was
but I
cool,
heard
man.
about it.
All 3 rockets landed successfully. Like straight
three
fucking
now?
right? Yeah.
Gains.
That's insane.
Last time 2 landed successfully.
Yeah.
and
All 3 landed perfectly, and they put a satellite into orbit.
Man, we're in the future.
Self-landing rockets, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
it's getting there.
I think I saw something about fully automatic self-driving cars. Fully
Saw that
automated
coming
too.
soon. Yeah. He said we're pretty close, like 2020.
That
That's,
would be nice.
That's damn close.
We need more people like him, man. He has a good mindset. Like the fact that like he wants to use his knowledge to help.
hmm
You know?
Yeah, he seems to be doing something right.
Yeah.
I had a thought and I lost
Sorry.
it.
You lost
I
it.
heard Elon
They
Musk
come
and
and
I
they
had to
go.
hop on it.
No, you're good. What were we
That's right.
talking
Where were we going back
Next
on the
line.
lyrics still? Oh, you pulling that shit up, Cody?
Yes.
Young Cody.
Shout out, young Cody.
You ever tried DMT?
You
Pull
gotta,
that shit
you
up,
gotta
Cody.
check the dates because they did a test before that and only 2 landed. But when they actually did
This is
the,
to-
Only 2. The
Yeah.
last I knew, they were like 1 was failing. So good for
Yeah.
them.
successfully landed all 3.
Good for them.
That video of
I know
I
nothing
didn't,
about
I didn't
what
see
goes
that
into
most
it.
recent one, but the last one where the 2 landed at the same time, that looked like
That's crazy.
that looks like something out of
So
a
cra- they
sci-fi
landed-
movie.
Yeah.
They land at the exact same
Yeah.
fucking time,
And,
which
like,
is the most mind-blowing thing to me.
They put out like the one video, like the multi-angle thing.
Yeah.
But I saw like a cell phone video of like someone like a mile away, like in a hotel or something. And it's just like
just coming
they
straight
just
down
float
perfectly.
down out of the
yeah.
sky, like the whole puff of smoke, like around each one.
It's
Like
crazy, man.
it's
Jesus.
insane.
Like the amount of engineering that had to go in that for them to figure that
Yeah,
out.
but
is
just
makes
like
sense.
the spaceman in the Tesla
Yeah.
floating around with the like the
Yeah,
Earth's,
I wish
Earth's
that's like the last
reflection
thing I
and it's
remember.
like
Yeah.
in its face mask.
I wish like
whoa.
cameras could just have infinite battery so you could see the journey, you know, like still. Because
Yeah.
they did that
Yeah.
live stream for a while, but then, you know, eventually ran out. But that'd be so dope to like just see where in like 50 years where it's at, you know, if it hadn't been destroyed.
Right, right. Well, I found that train of thought. I found my happy thought.
I dug deep and I found it.
But kind of like thinking about, if a civilization was so advanced that they could colonize, would they? As a question. With what we have going on right now in 2019, finishing up, of course, Game of Thrones, but Marvel, leading up to Endgame. We've been watching stuff like Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, all that kind of stuff. And what was interesting to me is that Asgard, to the human race, in this Marvel mythology, and of course you Marvel nerds, feel free to pick at me down in the comments if you like. Try not to be too mean.
They're coming for your ass.
They're coming for me.
Gave him the go ahead.
Yeah.
They're like listening to you right now, like, don't fuck up. Call your ass out.
It's called Asgard.
Asgard. But to the humans, the Norse gods, Thor and Odin, like gods, how they kind of break it down in the first Thor movie is saying, what you call magic, we call science. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting that Asgard,
that's good.
In Thor Ragnarok leading into Infinity War, spoiler alerts, as it was being destroyed, it's like Asgard is basically like, I don't want to say a city, but it doesn't look like it's big enough to be an actual planet, and what if, that kind of scenario, if there is, a totally advanced civilization that's out there, they really just, what if they have like the size of a city? It's just one city that is as far as it can possibly be.
I mean, if you figure out how literal space works, I mean, who knows? Maybe they can, make a portal that goes inwards or something. I don't know.
And
it's like Monsters Inc. To talk about the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
Open the door.
I think
it's like
possible.
It's stuff that we can't comprehend.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Could be true.
Space and time are malleable, so.
Yeah, and Cody, what we looking at over there, my dude? Break it down for the fans, man.
They're really just talking about how they're landing.
Like, hey, this landed.
It landed.
I had a side note from that. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was the Huawei camera, or the camera on the phone. Mm-hmm. I think you said something about a camera, which gave me the idea, where it was zooming in, and it was zooming in so far. Like, has anybody heard about that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one that used the picture of...
The dude's like in like the top of a building, and he zooms in. It's like a camera, a camera phone. A camera on a phone. And he zooms in so far away, and it's like clear.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I saw one of those, I can't remember, it was like in China or something.
Yeah,
and it's
Huawei.
like,
Huawei phones is... I think they're banned in the U.S.
Well, no, I mean, like, it was just like a picture. It was a picture over like an entire cityscape. And like, but you could like zoom in like miles.
Yeah.
Cody,
And
can I ask you to pull up a little something?
It was something like it was like billions of pixels in that photo. Or
Yeah.
something,
And you could,
try
like,
Huawei camera zoom.
You could like zoom into
I don't know how to
buildings
spell
that were
Huawei.
miles away and stuff.
Yes,
and like
this is
see.
look in the windows.
Yeah.
It's just like the video was just somebody like zooming in and it just kept going.
I
Is it?
looked at that picture so much trying to see somebody having sex.
Oh, it's just
Like
the
somebody-
3D or the you can like move it around.
Yeah, and you
I
can
think
like
you
zoom
showed me
in.
that.
Yeah.
That's
That starts with the H.
I mean,
well, that's like a scary thing relating to AI too, is because people think like army of robots or whatever, but it's like that line from the song "Unified Hive Mind." It's like AI is like it's not just
Right.
one thing; it's
It's
plugged
a collective, yeah.
plugged into everything, everywhere. It's,
On the same exact page.
It's seeing everything,
Yeah,
and we're
true,
all
yeah.
collectively
And that-
programming it with
That's
Right.
kind of cool because as
how
we get into like
use our attention.
the Internet of Things, where like everything's connected to the internet, like, they have infinite vision. They'll be an
Yeah.
omnipresent like.
Yeah.
Right.
There's
Hacking
no
everybody's
escape. There's no
webcam.
hiding. There
No
is no
jerking off in
No.
peace anymore.
You could have nothing connected to Wi-Fi at all.
Yeah.
So
And that's the thing about it. You guys ever see the movie Eagle Eye with Will Smith?
no.
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 It kind of makes me think about, for any of the fans watching who know about that, basically in the movie it touches on that where I think it's the CIA is trying to find Will Smith, and it's just all the traffic cameras, all the random Pizza Huts and Domino's and everything like that. Just nuts, even just I think there was a scene even in the movie where they tried to hide in a room where they couldn't see Will Smith's lips moving on camera, but there was like a coffee cup, and the vibrations in the water, it could tell what he was saying by
Man.
breaking down.
Yeah,
all
no,
of
for
that.
sure, that's possible.
That's one thing
It's
with
like-
5G too. Is like right now they can pin you down to maybe a block,
Yeah.
maybe a group of houses, but like
with
with 5G they could like he's laying on the
Essentially,
couch
yeah,
on the
did you
second
watch
floor.
They can hear your thoughts.
Like he's on the toilet in the.
I sent
know
him
what I
a
mean?
video where they were talking about that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a little out of the loop. Is 5G out? Is
Yeah,
this a
Kind of.
thing
They're
now?
like rolling
Yes.
it out.
Starting
yeah.
to be.
So the government's had it for about 20
They're already
years.
they're already working on 6G right now.
6G.
So
Because
It just means
5G,
generation.
the transmitters have to be like
Well, from
They can
4
only-
to 5.
yeah, they can't
have
be
to
too far
like,
apart,
Yeah, they
yeah.
have to be like I think it's like
Yeah,
200
it's like really
yards or like
close. Yeah.
Right.
So
They're
they
gonna
have to
have to
put
be
more
everywhere.
towers everywhere.
that shit scares me, man. Like the amount of studies they've done on that. Like
it's supposed to be bad for like your like down to your DNA bad for you, like all the way.
As long as I can
all the way bad.
browse fast.
Luckily, we can trust the government.
I can tell you, I'm not. If 5G is ever on my phone, I'm not keeping it in my pocket because I don't want to ruin my boys.
Jeez.
It'd be like that South Park, and then you could go
Hippity hop.
Oh man,
All down to the dispensaries.
Did you get her, Cody?
that could be
Yes.
true.
Medicinal
What
fried
do you
chicken.
got?
Is this
So
the Huawei phone?
This picture is of obviously the Eiffel Tower here, and it's saying it's
Rip Notre Dame, by the way.
Yeah, R.I.P. This one's for you. This is Kool-Aid.
Which, on that note, just quickly about Notre Dame, there was a really interesting Facebook post that was like, you know, it's really cool that, you know, all the rich people of the world have donated like $600 million,
I saw
you
this,
know,
yes, I
in
saw this.
like 1 day, 2 days to fix Notre Dame. But it's also like, really shows how many problems could be fixed if people just gave a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted, like, yeah, how much could they really help? Like, are they really not? Is there something to it? Because why aren't they helping?
Have you guys seen the video I Pet Goat? You ever seen that? It's an animated video.
No.
So it was released like 4 or 5 years ago. It's called I Pet Goat 2, and it shows like what looks like the spire of Notre Dame Cathedral like collapsing.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
All right, go on with
The
the
foreshadowing.
yeah.
one thing.
So there's a bunch of conspiracy theories about
There
that.
always is. There always is.
It has a 5 to 50 times zoom.
5 to 50.
50 times zoom.
Wow.
No luck. Did you find a video by any chance?
Yes, there is videos.
Because the video I saw was unbelievable.
For the OBS screen cap.
It was it for the Eiffel Tower.
Nah, it's just some. I think it was just some dude, like a couple of dudes sitting somewhere. I could try to find it on
Zoom in.
Twitter.
Zoom it.
Man, that's a lot.
Wow.
Wait, so it's just a phone camera? It's not even an attachment?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's
the
a
camera
phone.
on a phone.
Wow.
E-bomb. Tech that matters.
Future.
I wonder if they like put that into satellites now, like when they're scoping out planets.
I think that's what that one was, right? It was a satellite.
I think it was on
wasn't
top of a
satellite.
building.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hmm.
So you gotta think like as like that gets better and technology gets better, like do we have privacy anymore? Like,
I think that's just something that we're going to have to accept. I
Like-
mean, it's already getting there. Like, look at how much privacy you give away on the internet just so you can
Oh,
have it
yeah.
for free.
they collect all your data. Like they know everything.
That's
about
what
you.
Facebook does. It just collects your data and then sells it to people. That's what
Yeah.
marketing is.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I see that you went to this page.
Oh, you like this thing?
Yeah.
Here, shove this in your face.
Yeah, you might also like this. I mean, that's all it is.
Like,
And so
yeah.
like, but
You
like,
thought about this yesterday, so
Yeah.
yeah, but I think that it's gonna happen gradually where you're. Like sometimes you'll notice something, you know, but like it's just gonna slowly happen
It's
to
gonna
where
be so in your face.
yeah, it's just you're not even gonna really realize that. Oh shit! Like I just have no privacy.
There's
like,
been times like I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but like where like I'll be talking to something about
That
talking about something to somebody,
I think that's it.
and then like the next day you're
Yeah,
like scrolling
I
through
would say
Facebook and there's a
so.
fucking ad for like that thing.
Check
you're
this
talking
shit out.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me just take a step back here.
Playing the guitar.
Wow.
No, just wait. Just wait.
How far are they zoomed out? And this is a phone camera?
Yes.
Oh, my
What the fuck?
Yeah, so seriously, like
That's something.
you have no privacy.
You're done.
Oh
You're
my
done.
god,
Like
that is insane.
so.
they're gonna start making houses with no windows.
So you gotta think like
Yeah.
these cities as they get more
Then
like
vitamin D will be
more
an issue.
technologically advanced, like you're gonna be living in a city where you're basically monitored 24/7.
I mean, we're about there right now.
Yeah, like I said, I just think it'll happen gradually where you don't notice. You know, I think that's how everything is.
I think people are noticing, but what can they do about it?
Yeah.
I also heard like they've done a lot with like facial recognition, obviously, but like on a larger scale, they've been figuring out how to like identify people from the top.
Amazon has
Like
their
so
head?
like
Yeah.
from satellites, like the shape of the ears and like the way you walk and like your shoulders and stuff. They're like how to identify you based off like from directly above you.
so Amazon has a few brick and mortar stores where you go in and you don't stop to pay because of the facial recognition. Like it
Jesus.
notices you and it pays for your stuff using your card that's linked to your account.
That is insane.
Wow.
As
Or-
long as you take something, I'm assuming.
Or have you seen the
Amazon
thing
facial
where like
recognition,
they
brick and mortar
can make
stores,
your
something like Or
voice
just Amazon facial recognition
like
store.
they take clips of people's voice, like say Trump.
Yeah.
Because they have so many clips. and
I
then they
sent
can get
you.
a-
I sent you one of Jordan Peterson doing 8 Mile.
Yeah, that's
or
right,
doing.
yeah.
What was it? Lose Yourself by
Yeah.
Eminem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just sounds exactly like him. You just type in what you want them to say, and see that's
Yeah.
the scary thing. Is then like
Yeah.
You never, like-
legally. That's
yeah,
you can get-
politically like
They
you
can
just
make
be like
video perfect, like they'll have video of you doing something that you didn't do, but
Yeah.
it'll
So
look
true.
photorealistic.
yeah,
That's a bad. That can
or
be a
you
big
just
issue.
saying anything like
Yeah.
say you're on
Anything.
trial or something, and they
Yeah.
just want to like put you away
Yeah, you won't be able to trust video anymore.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of that
or audio.
the Black Mirror episode when they like start going back into memories,
Yeah,
because that might
Yes, that's a good
that
one.
would like justify that, because you're like, well, we
With
can't
the
we can't
gun.
trust video evidence anymore. We have to see what you saw.
Right.
oh true, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you have to like see that's another thing. You just have to integrate, and they'll make you get the like where you're constantly recording
Yeah.
out of your eyes because like
Or else you're
yeah.
obstructing justice.
You just got to be a good dude. You know. That's
Pretty
the
much.
bottom line.
That's my thing with like
Don't
privacy.
ever fuck up.
Is like with privacy, it's like as long as I don't do anything bad, I'll be okay.
Well, that's what a lot of people say, but like people still like.
But who decides what's
Right.
bad?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the problem.
But then again, like we said, they could make you say anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So
Here's also the
I don't
question though, like as we realize that we don't have any privacy, would we really fucking care? Like,
As long as we have
we
cool
just get
toys
used
to
to
play
it.
with, it
yeah,
doesn't matter.
exactly. Yeah.
It does kind of make you wonder at the same time, like, I've thought about this a little bit, you know, as the millennial generation has, in many ways, taken diversity and acceptance to a certain level. Like, it makes me wonder, like, with privacy becoming, as we've discussed, much more of a, it's not really something we have going forward.
it's gonna be
Do we
more
have
valuable.
acceptance and tolerance for people doing things when they think it's private? Or do we just judge them 24/7?
I think given the trend, like yeah, there's gonna be some people, like of course, that are gonna be against like whatever you're doing. But I think as this trend goes along, like you're saying, this social like acceptance of like everyone. Like I think we're gonna be like yeah, whatever. They're just living their life, like
Yeah.
Or maybe the things we keep private will become more
acceptable.
public
Mainstream, 'cause
and
more people
publicly
probably-
accepted.
Be like, oh shit, you do that too?
Well, I mean,
You're like,
look at like
yes.
websites for fetishes, like.
Yeah.
Like, think like 10, 20 years ago, like people were like, oh fuck, if anybody knew.
Yeah.
And now you can go on a website and be like, fuck yeah, dude. Like,
talk to a bunch of
Exactly.
people who have the same.
yeah.
That's yeah.
I was thinking about that
beating
too.
the
Like,
internet.
we're getting to the point now where people have phones their entire lives.
Yeah.
So it's like, in 20 years, if some Gen
Right.
Zer ran for president,
Right.
and then like someone leaked videos of him when he was like 14, just like. Like,
Yeah.
like this, your
No,
face
for
all
sure,
lit up
yeah.
from the screen, and like, but you have a compilation of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
35 years worth of like whacking it to weird
No,
shit.
for sure.
Yeah.
But like that, all that's like,
Yeah,
you're
that-
pointing a phone at, like you have a camera on you at all times. It's
Yeah,
like any of
true.
that could be
No,
used
that's true,
against
no.
you theoretically.
There's a hacker con in Las Vegas every year, and like one guy that was like covering like the story of it for like a news agency, like they hacked his shit, and like they saw him like on his phone. Like it's possible,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
like blackmail. Like it's gonna get to the point where it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, you got me. Like
But if we integrate,
This has been a long ad in favor of integration for AI. We're here on behalf of AI.
Elon, shout
and
out.
again,
bro.
I think it's inevitable.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, man, I think like the next 50 years would be wild. It'll be interesting to see.
Definitely.
Is that our
we good, young Cody?
It's camera timer.
Let's probably wrap this up.
Okay, so we're about to wrap up here, guys. Gentlemen, anything else you want to say to the fans before we head on out?
was there anything else Cody had pulled up?
Yeah, I looked up this Amazon store, and from what they're basically talking about here, you have to use the QR code on your app just to even get into the store.
yeah,
And then it is covered with cameras, and based off the tracking of the cameras and your app, whatever you pick up off the shelf is automatically like added into your app.
yeah.
So of course you can just like walk out, but basically because they're loaded and they don't really, and they like anticipate that things are gonna be stolen, like the way they think is that that like most people aren't stealing things, so as long as they're doing well enough for that, that's fine. They made like a very adamant that there is no facial recognition.
Is there though?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We got cameras everywhere.
Yeah,
They're not seeing your face,
They
though.
make sure and bring that up.
The cameras are for your safety.
Yeah,
Who knows
they're
what
gonna.
being watched.
And that's the thing. I think they're gonna tell people that, but like, come on.
I mean, I would totally believe that it's possible.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah,
you told me, I
that's-
was
look
just
at,
like,
like, Facebook
"Whoa,
and
that's
stuff."
cool." Like,
It sounds definitely possible.
Yeah.
And why would you steal?
I don't get like the resistance to facial recognition. Like it's you. It's like people are gonna recognize you in public.
I mean,
you know, like-
it's just like the people that don't want to like sign up for like loyalty cards at stores. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want you to have my information.
I just don't like the word facial.
I mean, that's
brings
a
me
good point.
back to my childhood.
I
Too
was
soon.
gonna say we're about to get to the point where fantasy and science fiction are becoming reality, but fantasy and facial is.
Well, I think science fiction is just like, okay, so this is really meta, but I think science fiction is just like, so anything's possible, and I think if you can think about it, like in this current reality, like you can make it happen. So I think, you know, someone thinking of something in science fiction just like kind of sets it in
Paves
stone.
the
And
way,
now it's gonna
yeah.
happen.
The law of
True.
subtraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Amazon store is pretty crazy. I wouldn't think about that. Now that I hear it, it's like, okay, it could be real.
It's on the way. Well, guys,
It exists.
It's real.
eat these deal.
It's no longer fiction.
Well, guys, I think with that being said, I think that's about it for today, huh?
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, guys. Fans, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to us ramble about all things AI and metal and love related to you folks. You have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you next time
Till next time.
at the Archive. Peace.
Bye. I need more Kool-Aid.